Good morning, everybody. I just want to let somebody know that you are being carried by grace, not grind. I'm going to say that again. You are being carried by grace, not grind. And so I just got that message. A lot of people out there are like delivering this message of work hard, work hard, work hard, start this, start that, start this, start that, right? And it's like at the same time, a lot of us are tired as well. We have went through many battles, and we are coming into a new season where we are able to put our swords down. And so that means in all aspects, God know that we are weary. God know that we are tired. God know that we have been through a lot of battles. And a lot of people, God is calling us to rest right now because our next journey um, is going to be about excitement, right? And restoration. A lot of us, it's crazy because I don't know if y'all heard those birds. I got chills. I don't know if y'all heard those birds get louder and louder and louder. But a lot of us are going into a season where um, God is going to carry us, right? And so God is calling us. We're going to be tired from being overwhelmed by happiness and joy and all these good things to do. And so if God is calling you to rest, rest, right? I'm trying to talk kind of low because my throat, my voice had went out. You know, when you're trying to do something, a lot of times we want to say that the devil is attacking us. No, sometimes God allow things to happen so we can sit down, right? He calling a lot of us to rest, go to sleep, sit down, whatever you got to do in this season to, or in this time frame to relax your mind, do that, right? Some of y'all need to get y'all some ashwagandha. Some of y'all need to do some meditations, where y'all can cause stillness. But um, I just had to say that in this season, we are being carried by grace, not grind. So put your swords down, sweetie. It is over with. The fight is over with. The people in the back making all that noise, right? And a lot of the stuff that you're feeling is a lot of these people calling out for the grace and mercy of God. The enemies who have put you through these things. That is not your battle to fight anymore. And some of these people are tugging on our energy, right? And so just ask God to release it in this season and for him to handle it. That's why you got to know what's your energy and what's not your energy, right? And I might go into saying before my video cut out that I might go into that a little bit later, right? Um, if y'all notice, it's silent now. There's no birds gawking in the background, right? Once I caught it out, it ended. And my throat had got so sore, right? And it's crazy because I was on the phone with my dad and I was telling my dad about different things and I went into different deep conversation, right? And I was like, Dad, I ain't been sick in like 15 years, right? He was like, me neither, right? He just had so much excitement behind, the different conversations we was having. And I was telling him that he's always amped up just like me. And so I was like, Dad, I ain't been sick in like 15 years, right? Y'all, bullcrap you not. I went to sleep. I woke back up. My whole throat was sore, right? Like I was coming down with a cold. And I sat there for a minute, right? I had spoke with somebody else. And these are people that I don't really talk to anymore that have been reaching out. And God said, no, your throat is sore because in this season, I'm calling you to do something. And I want you to rest right now. It's not time, right? It's not time. God is trying to still fill us with downloads. It's not time to deliver these things. And so don't come across nobody and feel and they telling you to push this, do that. This is the time. Now is the time, right? When at the same time God is calling you to rest, it don't mix. And so I'm telling y'all, a lot of y'all are pushing with your own strength, right? And you know that anytime, like if nothing else on my journey, it might be some turbulence, but at the same time, like when I really look back on it, ooh, y'all got chills. God have always carried me. God has always carried me, y'all. The battles, I didn't really get to feel the battle, even though I was going through it, right? I really didn't get to feel the battle until like the last go around of this thing, right? And it was because I had released it. And when you release that, right, that you got to understand that the evil one, right? We ain't gonna give that too much energy, but they know when you going into your season. They know, and they trying to do everything that they can to stop it. But we are not giving thee, they, thou, he, she, they, may. We're not giving them the energy in this season, right? And so, like, even with me, uh, like, we have to correct the way we are talking, right? A lot of us are still talking in the past tense. A lot of us are coming across people and they're still talking in the past tense, right? On some of these videos. And a lot of us are still talking because we're in the midst of healing. And it's like you still giving he, she, them, that. You giving all this stuff in the past, all this energy, right? Including me, though. Like, I had to check myself where I felt like I didn't heal from it. I did heal from it, right? And this is a lot of us. We didn't heal from things, and we are healing from things, right? And all it takes is for you to get on the phone or run into that one person to be bringing up, stirring up emotions from the past, right? Because a lot of these people, they didn't do the work and they did not heal, right? They didn't do the work, they didn't heal, but, all you can do is pray for them on a journey, but you will get wrapped up in stuff that you already healed from, right? You in it, and it's innocent, right? It's like you get on the phone with somebody, hey, how you been? Whoop de whoop de whoop, how you doing, right? It's all love there, but it's like they, whoop de whoop de whoop, he, she, thee, them. And I'm like, right? And it's like you can get wrapped up in that so much that you don't even know you wrapped up in it. And sometimes it may take days before you finally click, like, damn, was I just giving that all that attention? Right? God, like, I'm calling you to sit down. I'm calling you to rest, right? And you have to understand that when you have healed that much, right? When God is blessing and bestowing you with certain gifts and abilities, right? Everybody ain't welcome. This is the reason why God has been making us. We have been forced to weed our garden, right? Like, God has literally been like, look at that person, look what they doing. Look what that person, look what they doing, right? They ain't never been for you, right? And some people have went as far as like really being evil, low blow evil towards you. And it's like, you are doing all this healing, right? You done got away from all these things, right? And it's like, now you can't even intertwine your energy with that because it will make you sick, right? And I noticed that when I was on the phone with this person that I started to feel ill. I started to feel nauseated. I started to feel like I was getting dizzy. All of a sudden, right? I've been good. I done fast. I done did all these things, right, that God has called me to do. And it's still a work in progress, right? I'm not perfect because every now and again I might go grab me some ice cream. God be like, put it down. Put it down. Like, no, I don't think so. Right? I'm still learning myself, right? But you will get punished for it later, right? Your body wise, because it's not God. It ain't a spiritual thing on that. No, it's more so like when you start to do something, you start to clean yourself out, right? The body just don't agree with certain things anymore, right? Your vibration don't agree with certain things anymore. And so, y'all, my throat is so freaking sore and so dry, and I knew it wasn't mine. But what's even crazier is when this person was on the phone with me, they was like, oop, my throat. Oop, my throat. I just felt. Person had mentioned something about their throat, and they said that something in their throat had cleared when I was talking to them. I had said something. I had prophesied something. And then I had said something about their, like, what had happened to them. And they was like, ooh, that's crazy. What you just do to my throat? This person literally said, what did you just do to my throat, right? And I'm like, what did you talking about? I'm on the phone with this person. And right after that, my throat got sick, right? And I'm like, what the heck? Oh, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, right? But it's not about that. These people have done some heinous things in the background. These people have opened up, I'm trying to find a nice way to put it. A-whoopings on they self, right? For putting your name in their mouths, right? These people have done a lot of heinous things. And it's like, God, like, you cannot. It's a difference, right? You got the energy, right? The gifts to heal, right? He'll do all these different things, whatever it is that God gave you. But a lot of times we have to use that on the innocent. We really can't intertwine with the wicked like that. And it's sad to say like that. And so this is how I knew that this person did something to me, because the weight of it is heavy. And now I gotta alchemize that freaking energy. And it's like, it ain't mine to alchemize. And God is like, this is why I'm telling you, you can't turn back to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? That is Sodom and Gomorrah, right? When God is taking you forward, when God has pulling you out, when God has helped you to understand certain things, when a lot of these people never gave you clarity, right? When you have to go off an apology that you never got, right? When you got to heal from what people have been doing behind the scene, whether you knew it was them or not, right? God pulled you away from them for a reason, right? You might not even understand it fully, and it might be something that that person did that you forgot that they did, and you kept on with your life and never turned back, right? And then all of a sudden the person come around the bend, or who, it don't matter if you reach out to them or they reach out to you, right? Because a lot of times we get lonely in this season. God said, don't get caught by loneliness, right? This is the toughest season for a lot of us, because God has pulled us from so many people, places, and things that we can't go to no more. Right? It's certain business establishments. I had to learn how to do my own nails, my own feet, all of it. God said, no, no, no. Them people cannot touch you. I am taking you to a place in a season where you look, God might have us somewhere sitting up, having our own personal something, and they got to be anointed before they come in the door, right? God is pulling some of us up that high, right? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I got chills. God is pulling some of us up that so high that these people, they got to be anointed before they come through the door to touch you. That's crazy. It is 7:11 on my clock. Earlier, I seen 411. I seen 222. I seen all these different numbers, right? God is communicating with us. And it's like, it's crazy because there's so many people that be getting the signs and the synchronicities, right? Just like how God opened us. Let me tell you how this thing is, right? A lot of times when God sends you into the, I'm getting off here in a minute. A lot of times when God sends us in the battlefield, we haven't even opened up to who we are, who our gifts is, what our gifts is, what this and that and the other, right? A lot of us went in there blind. And it's crazy because I knew I had one more fight, because before I went a certain way, God told me one more fight in the dark, right? I ain't never heard that. This is when I knew that I was going on my divine mission. This is when I knew I was being opened up in something else, because I never was tuned in to hear something like that, right? And so I called another person who I felt was anointed. And I said, what does that mean? One more fight in the dark. This person really couldn't explain to me fully what it was, but it's okay because I know now. And so it's over with, and it came and went. But let me go back here for a second. A lot of us are at a place now, like I was saying, that God is putting us in places where people, and we can't be sitting next to none of them, right? You gonna know the false right when you see it, right? Because the energy is going to be so. Let me go back. Hold up. I was saying that a lot of these people were tapped in well before us. My mind went here and there. A lot of people was tapped in well before us. A lot of these people who got these evil ways about them, right, who God was calling to correct themselves, a lot of them was tapped in well before us to signs, synchronicities, numbers. A lot of them had gifts, right, before we even knew who, what, when, where, and how. And a lot of them chose to use their gifts and abilities wrong. And so a lot of times God will set that mirror, you, me, them, they, he, she, them, whoever, his people, he will sit you in front of them a lot of times to correct them what they doing. But instead, a lot of people, instead of them correcting it, right, they want to target you and tap after you and destroy you and your name and who you are, because they mad because they didn't become what God chose them to do, and you chose to stand in the light, right? And you got beat, bruised, and stoned for standing in your truth and standing in your life and doing the job that God called you to do before you even knew that God was calling you to do this thing, right? A lot of them knew what you was before you knew what you was. A lot of them knew your light before you knew your light. A lot of them people was already getting signs, synchronies, numbers. They was already on a bigger timeline before you even had touched these timelines to get these things, right? Because anytime you get to the point where you seeing signs, synchronicities, and numbers and 411, 211, 444, and all these things, right? A lot of times, They was already they was already there, 717 on my clock, right? I know when God's sending me in a certain direction, I know when I'm saying the right thing, and I know when I'm off key, because God always will align with you, me, and whoever his true divine one is. I know when somebody is really for God. I don't care what it is that they calling them to do, right? They like to call a lot of these stuff that people out here doing the devil, but no, 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 right? That's a whole nother topic. I'm not getting on it. I'm not getting on it. But a lot of times when you talking and you speaking, it will align in 717. Let me screenshot it just in case somebody like to say you're lying. But anyways, I've been seeing all these numbers, right? But like I was saying, I don't want to get off a topic. A lot of these people were on family members, friends, ex-lovers, all of them. They were on higher timelines before you even got there. They was already supposed to have stepped into their divine mission, and God was so patient, right? Can't nobody say that God is not a patient, awesome, miraculous God, right? A lot of these people have been attacking us for years. God gave them years, some of them decades, to step into and stop. You understand? And so now you on this thing, you on this journey, and they think that they was going to destroy you. That's not how it's going to work. The best thing I can tell anybody out there, right, is all you got to do is come into one with the Most High God. All you got to do, if you don't know your purpose, if you don't know which way you turn it, you ain't got to do nothing but live and to communicate with the Most High God. I think that's the best advice my grandmother could have gave me. I was raised in the church. I was on the mime team. I was in the choir. I was on everything you could think of. I was in plays. I was in everything. People from all over the world came to see us at my church. All I'm going to say is, all that I got out of the church was nothing. And I remember, thank God shielded me from all of that, man, to not take none of that in. But what I am going to say is, on my grandmother's deathbed, she said, Moo, my nickname is Moo for y'all that don't know. Moo, I don't care what you do. She said, ain't none of that stuff real. My grandmother, the one who put us in the church, you understand me? She was a cake pie master cook down at the church. She was everything for the church. And none of them people came and seen my grandmother. It was like two of them out of the whole church, out of all that stuff, out of all the time my grandmother gave them people. I got to see her on her deathbed with none of them people standing by her with all that time she gave, not even a pastor. So all I'm saying is, I'm not going to turn people away from the church. That's not what I'm doing, right? I'm not doing that. But at least have enough discernment to know when somebody leading you straight to hell, to HE double hockey sticks. Know when somebody is leading you down that path. You can tell, it's in your gut, right? And if it ain't, just tell God to give you discernment. And be careful what you ask for, right? Because, right, let me go back here for a second. My grandmother told me, she said, get to know God. Get a personal relationship with God yourself. If you don't do nothing else, just get a personal relationship with God yourself. And everything else don't matter. Nothing else matter. What they talking about don't matter. No nothing. You get your own intimate, personal, y'all got chills. You get your own personal relationship with God. You don't need no building. You don't need no other person, right? Two come together is better than one. Don't get it twisted, right? Use the dog. I remember I was in my house. I was going through the worst time of the worst time of the worst time, right? And at that time, I didn't know it was by the hands of everybody around me, right? But one day I was sitting in the house and I heard two was better than one, right? And they say like two come together and all this extra stuff, right? And I remember I grabbed my dog's hands and started to pray, y'all. And I had breakthroughs from the left and from the right. Ain't nobody gonna tell me, right? Dogs, animals, they more pure than any human you can never run into. And a person might laugh, but baby, try me out. Test the spirit by the spirit. Test the spirit by the spirit. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody out there that's thinking stuff is a game and thinking it's funny, Whatever your testimony is, whatever your message is that you sharing, you better understand they not testing you, they testing God. And don't never stand in the forefront. Don't never defend yourself when it comes to so he, she, and they. You understand? I ain't saying don't take up for yourself, but I'm saying that when you deliver a message, don't ever try to go and defend yourself when it comes to these people out here. These people that's being pushed up to play with you and to play with God because they're playing with God. They ain't. I always tell people, you ain't playing with me, you playing with God. You ain't mocking me, you mocking God. I told a lady at my job that she laughed, and her husband went home and took himself within a week after she laughed. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It was not funny. She came back to me and told me hey, go repent. I told her, go repent. I don't got nothing to do with it. That's between you and God. I'm taking myself out of it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want the glory. I don't want the praise. I don't want the nothing. I seen in her what you did, right? You and other people. And I'm just saying, I told her when she did it, hey, I don't care what you talking about. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about the he, ha, ha, right? All I'm saying is you can pretend this way in front of everybody else. But when you get in your car and you go home, you ain't got to do it in front of me. You ain't got to do it in front of nobody. Man, repent. Ask God for his forgiveness. Ask God for his forgiveness, what you just did. Man, I meant that. And guess what she went and did? She went and told everybody. Ooh, she said, ask for forgiveness. Who? She said she got a relationship with God. Ha, 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 ha. And everybody stood there and watched her. That man looked at her and walked on. People scattered out that group that she went. Everybody was grouping up. Right? I ain't there no more, thank God. But everybody was grouping up and playing these games, right? Trying to come and ask for advice. I'm a God person. I can't tell you nothing personal. All I can tell you is the Most High God said, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop in the Bible. Turn to Ecclesiastics. And God said, ain't nothing new up under the sun. You understand, right? Mix it, dip it, flip it, however you got to do it. If you need some help, maybe we can turn the page together. I ain't got nothing else for you. I'm leaving it in that manner, right? My granddad used to tell me, don't speak. When I first got my first job and he dropped me off, and he was like, I was 15 years old. He said, hey, I'm proud of you and everything and stuff. My granddad, that was his favorite line, everything and stuff. I'm proud of you and everything and stuff. But let me tell you something. You're not grown, right? But I'm proud of you, though. I love you. I'm proud of you. But let me tell you something about them folk up in there. What you don't do is you don't speak politics. You don't speak you don't speak politics. You don't speak sports. You don't speak religion. He said, don't speak politics. Don't speak religion. And don't speak sports because sports is just like religion. Right? It's some diehard friends out there and they gonna argue you down like it's a religion, and they might put something in your drink about it was where I was working at, about the team you hollering. And so don't do it. Now you have a nice day. And it stuck with me, right? All the way up until I stepped in my purpose, right? And it was certain people that was coming up to me playing, right? Because I already went a person now. Nah, right? And so this individual came up to me one day. It was a guy and we was talking about different things. And one day I was like, no, I believe in God. God is good, right? So really what it was he felt some type of way because a person knows a strong demeanor and a strong personality, right? And I didn't know that I came off like that until after this job. So that's why a lot of times God sends you in places, even when it's horrific, to bring out things in you so you can understand who and what you are and how you make people shake down to the bones, right? How your presence can make people either bring the good out or the bad out, right? And so we are nothing but a mirror, right? And so God will place us in front of people, and you, like I said, they're gonna either do the right thing or the wrong thing. And this person felt like they thought they was gonna challenge me, but you're not challenging me, you challenging God. And so this person was trying to come around acting like he wanted to know this, that, and the other, right? And he belonged to this group, and I knew he did. He belonged to this undercover group that I'm not gonna speak on, that God gave me insight on. And he kept trying to come up to me and challenge me. And he went into this respect my authority, right? And what it was is that everybody was praying for something. God to bring you in there and be like, oh, okay, y'all pray for this. Let me send mine's on up in there, right? And a lot of times, these people don't like who God brought to the forefront because what you look like, because of skin color, because of sexist, because of racist, whatever it is, right? And then not only do God bring it in to bless that, right? Y'all, he bring the blessing in and you gonna disrespect and dog the blessing? These people got to pay the piper now. And see, a lot of times, God give these people so much time. I'll be like, God, how much time is you going to give these people? And that's when a lot of times God call us to walk away. And some of y'all don't know your purpose, your divine purpose. And a lot of times you don't understand why you being so done so badly in somewhere. It's because a lot of times these people prayed for this thing, right? And I noticed that when I went in this place, it was so much growth and so much things that was being opened up and shut and rearranged, right? And everybody was praying for a spot. Even the big dog, right? Everybody was praying for this thing, and God sent the blessing in, and everybody want to play these games, right? Everybody, when I met in that place, they was in lower rows. By the time I left there, they was opening these things up, and these people were stepping into higher rows. The person that God called to put in the forefront to do this and do that, they didn't want to respect the word. They didn't want to respect the blessing. And so God said, well, since you ain't going to respect my blessing, let me go tap her on the shoulder. She been here for a little bit over a year. Hey, baby. They not respecting the blessing. They pray for these things. They ain't answering. They not doing what I'm calling them to do. And then they going to disrespect you and cause you stress and disrespect and overstep your workspace and your boundaries. Man, move on up out of there. Get on up out of there. Because I'm about to tear the whole place up. Everybody about to lose finances. And the people who thought they was going to step in these places that began to step their foot in the doors while I was there, God said, I'm about to remove them. I'm going to revoke their privileges, right? There's a lot of things that I went into that I really wasn't trying to get off into. But it's all right. I'm going to go back up to the beginning here. A lot of y'all stop pushing yourself. One thing, like I said, if I have not noticed anything else on my journey, I noticed that I never had to push in my own strength. It was never a fight. God took me in, God took me out. God took me in, God took me out, right? And one thing I told a particular person, I told them, I said, you know what? They was telling me that they ran into somebody, right? And they was doing business for this person. And that this person was frustrated one day. And so they shared something with this individual, right? They had their business for them multiple times. And they said that this person had said like, oh, well, they doing this and they doing that. And they wait till you leave out the door to do this, that, and the other, right? And so this person was telling me like how this person was putting him up on game. And they like, yeah, because they was putting me up on game about this. And by the end of that conversation, this conversation went on for days about this person, right? And so I finally tapped in and I said, hey, I said, man, I said, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but I said, that ain't your business. And right at first, this person got like offended. And they like, what you talking about? That is my business because they doing this and they doing that, right? Around me. And I need to be aware of my surroundings. And I said, it's a difference from being aware of your surroundings or versus being so tapped in and so aware to the point where it's making you stagnant, right? I said, one thing about it is that when you are protected by the Most High God, you don't have to really watch your back in that manner, right? You already being aware of it by the fact that you even knew what was going on, right? But you should have prayed and left it to God. I said, now you opened up the door for that enemy to attack you, right? I said, that person sitting at home, they ain't got nothing going on. They sick, right? They can't move. They old. They done wasted their life away. And so now they need somebody that they can feed off of. And so they trying to keep your attention by feeding off into what you know to be true, and they stroking your ego and pushing you off into a realm that you're not even supposed to be in, right? You're not supposed to be focusing on that. Your focus is to go out there, do your job. You have your run-ins, you give your messages, you let people have a better day. Whatever your calling is, that's what you need to be focusing on. And I said, and since you have ran into this person, all you have been talking about is them, they, thou, that, they doing, focus in on, hone in on. I said, you went from doing what's meant, gliding through life, right, to now you stagnant. You because it's stagnation there, right? And this person was like, I never thought about like, you so right like that. I said, God was protecting. I was telling this person, I said, now you are stuck off into a whole bunch of stuff that don't got nothing to do with you, right? Whatever they got going on over there to the point where it's bothering you, I said, pray about it and keep it moving, right? That stuff will start making you sick. You holding all that energy. God never bring it to your attention in that way, because it was never yours to focus in on. Like, now you focused in on this thing and you honed in. I've never heard this person do this, and it bothered me that they was doing it. I said, look how that is aggravating your spirit. You cannot focus in on what they doing. God has shielded you from that. Now you done tapped into this thing over here, and it didn't bring it to your attention, and you stuck. Unstick yourself and keep it going, right? A lot of things is none of our business. How we gonna get there? What's happening next? It is none of our business. God is calling a lot of us, go to sleep. Close your eyes. While you sitting there in that mist, God is calling us to heal. He's bringing certain things and certain aspects of things that we've been through back up to the forefront, so we don't sit on it and start harboring those emotions, right? And so we carrying energy that was never ours to carry. We carrying burden that was never ours to carry. All we were supposed to do was go in that thing, and either that thing was going to do the right thing or the wrong thing. Once it did not do what was right, the judgment comes. You are moved on. Matter of fact, you are moved on, then their judgment comes. But it was never ours to figure out how was it they gonna get it. Was they gonna get their karma and all this stuff? And now you tapping into other fields that we not supposed to be tapping into. I'm guilty of it as well. And so I had to check myself, and it'll drive you mad. That's none of your business. I said, God, when did you, God came to me like, when did you start doing this? When you started to want to see this and see that and see, what is this? It's a mess. It's not yours. That's not yours, right? That ain't your business. That ain't none of your business. Keep moving forward. Get you some rest. Next mission, please. Go to sleep. Some of y'all need to go to sleep. And another thing too is this. A lot of ailments are caused by not resting. So a lot of y'all are sick as hell and got all these issues because you ain't getting you the proper rest. Even when you're going to sleep, your brain still is on go mode. And so now it's time to love on you. We are at time. Love on you. Love on you ain't buying yourself an expensive watch and keep on pushing. No. Sit down. Take yourself a hot bath. Sing you some kumbanam right? Sun can roar. However you say it. Pull yourself back down to reality. Get you some breathing techniques in there. Right? A lot of people like, I don't want to hear that. I was one of them people. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I ain't listening. I don't dang none of that. And so, y'all, I'm about to get off of here. I love y'all. Mind y'all business. It ain't your business what he, she, they, them, thou are doing. It's your business to bring peace, rest, restoration, if I'm saying it right, upon self. Go eat you some apples, some oranges, some grapes, right? Do that fast. Put yourself in a winning position during your fast, right? Go do the Daniel fast to start off with if you ain't willing to quit everything, right? Because that's a hard thing to do, right? Only if the mind told you that. But go get you some apples, some oranges, some waters, right? Set yourself up for success in your fast. Fast for 7 days. God has been calling us, a lot of us, to fast so he can break certain things off. It's people in the background trying to tether you into the main line, trying to tether things into you. And God said, no, not in this season. You will not tether to them to eat, to keep yourself hydrated. Because a lot of people is swithering up, shriveling up in the back. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Shriveling up in the background. And they still trying to playing things to tether to you, right? And so God is calling us to do some things in this season for ourselves. And the biggest thing that you can do is get a relationship with God, for one, right? Sit there and talk to him. You want to hear all about it. Complain, cry, fall all out, and then pull yourself back together, right? God will always put you in a place to be able to heal. But what are you going to do when he gives you the... Some of us been fighting so long, we don't even know how to put our swords down. Somebody walk up on you, you ready to shank them. What? You got a shank in your sock. Talking about what you say. Don't come... You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have love from a pure place. place and people have did things to really hurt you and you have done nothing but love on people, right? And so eat apples, oranges, water, right? I'm guilty of still sneaking in the ice cream. And so coffee too. And so when you are being your vibration, your frequency is being raised up as well, and God are instilling new gifts on you, it's a lot on the body. And so this is another reason why he's calling us to eat a little bit better, right? I was like, I'm going to do this. God said, oh, yeah, she going to feel that later on, right? It's not punishment. It's just that when you are being raised up, certain gifts are being bestowed on you. It's a lot on the body and system, especially with all these different alignments and all this stuff. We got to be able to align the heavy metals all in the body. God, like, detox that out of there. Or you going to go through something when I'm doing this for you, because he's going to do it for you still. But it's up to you how tumultuous it's going to be, whether it's a gift or whatever. He try to bestow a gift of deepening and enlightening your voice, and he tuning all. God doing a lot of tuning to us right now, and so that's why he calling a lot of us to eat a little bit better too, right? And let's not get on the fact that I had some issues going on. I went to the doctor. My doctor looked at me and said, "So what are we going to do?" What? You the one got all the. Well, this ain't my field. But God said, but it is, because it's your body, it's your health, it's your wealth. You can't have wealth without your health. And so everybody trying to jump to the blessings of God. But your body have went through a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma is stored within there. And so you got darting pains through your stomach and your heart and your butt and gas floating up to your throat. And you like, what's that? The back of your neck all heavy. That's energy. And it needs to be released. And so God said, we can't jump you over here, right? God is calling a lot of us to pay attention to our health. The doctors ain't doing it. And so a lot of us got to turn into little doctors ourselves, right? Figure out what goes with this, to go with that, to clear that, right? If you have an issue, whatever it is you having issues with, I had issues with 3 different things and I got to tackle it, right? And then as soon as I say I'm going to tackle it, I'm sleepy. I know I ain't the only one. I need a nap. But God said take a nap 20 days ago. And now all of a sudden you go to do something productive and to fix something, you tired. What? What in the... This is how these things attack, right? And so I love y'all. I'm getting off here. I got to go. Take care of yourself. Get your health together. Because God not giving you no wealth with your health failing. For you to go on out there flitting around. I can't even say that. Flitting around. Playing out there. And you been passed out there trying to spend the money God gave you. And he said, go figure out your health first. He not giving you nothing when you dizzy and lightheaded and you got gas going all through your stomach. You ain't pooped in days. And he not giving you nothing until you correct it. Somebody need to hear that. And so I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back later on. I don't know. Maybe not. I might take me a nap. I don't know. I love you guys.